What's up guys? Today I want to construct a better bridge using fence foundations to step up and over the water. It should make an extravagant footbridge as well as a road-sized path for mounts and thralls to cross without any teleporting, because immersion. Once I've chosen a good spot for the bridge, I start by laying foundations across the entire span. I want to set 2 starting foundations at either side at the exact same level. Next, I alternate fence foundations and square foundations, using the alternate snap points to raise each square foundations up a step as I progress towards the water. Now here I run into an issue. The square foundation needs contact with the ground to be placed, but the step up has it hovering just out of contact. All I can do here is snap a second one at the same height. I should be able to snap a foundation beneath the first level once the riverbank drops a bit more. The fence foundation here is being finicky about snapping, so I delete the foundation it's not getting along with and keep pushing across the river. Once I step up to a height I'm happy with, I do a quick count so I know exactly how many steps to go up on the other side of the river, so the bridge can meet in the middle at the correct height. Now here I run into the same problem as I did on the other side, with having to place 2 square foundations at the same height. It actually works out symmetrically, so this is perfect, almost like I planned it. Next, I place my arch ceilings and start extending the bridge out to a 3 foundation width from end to end. I was hoping I would be able to snap walls down from this arch ceiling, but the game has other plans. I'll need to set a few foundations so I can wall up from the river bottom. Next, I cover the sides of all the black ice foundations with Argosian fence foundations. This gives me a blacktop roadway encased in marble. I love this contrast. Next, I'm using the fence posts from the stable build set so I can create large open windows. Once I place the fence pieces, I swap out the stable fence posts for door frames to complete the look. Now here I've reached the point in the build that I had plans for. The rest of the instructions I have in my head just kind of say put a roof on it and make it look nice. Alright, this stupid statue should fit here nicely and provide light and look nice, but the ground is apparently not good enough. I will have to adapt with something more extravagant then. Take that, building physics. I'm checking to see if another foundation skin I have will be less noticeable on the riverbed. It's kind of a pointless detail, I know, but the underwater foundations keep catching my eye. It turns out the black ice is the least noticeable, so I just move on. Now to add some detail and contrast, I snap fence foundations in between the black ice foundations to create a stripe. Okay, it's starting to look like a nice build. The roof is a bit too basic though. Let's give it some character so it looks like more than just a pretty shed. Now comes lighting. This is my favorite part of a build. The way it comes to life by adding light and shadow in the right places is just super gratifying. Okay, it's looking pretty nice, but the roof could still use some more love. A few banners will add some color and some motion to the scene. These small extensions are kind of underwhelming. They're a bit overcrowded with the statue and the brazier on top, and they're just kind of basic and plain. There, now there's some room for more banners and some greenery. Okay, it works pretty good as a footbridge, but for a proper test, I zip back to my survival base and grab my horse, the Great Garbanzo. Okay, that's it guys. Thanks for hanging out and watching. If you liked what you saw, consider clicking the thing, and I'll see you in the next one, Exile. Peace.